What's up, guys? In this episode, I do a run through of the Synergy Bogner Uberschall. Stay tuned. What is up, you guys? It's your boy Luis Torres, and yes, I know I kind of did a video with all the different Synergy modules that I have, and but I wanted to just do a rundown with the Bogner Uberschall, concerning the fact that I have a Bogner Uberschall Rev Blue. So I will be running this into the Syn 1 that is running out to my KSR PA50. So let's go ahead. I might as well just do it live, so that way there's less editing to do. That way I just plop it right in the timeline and off it goes. So here is the Bogner. So let me swap this out over here. Again, it's super easy to do. On the left and right, you have the little screws. You pull it out. This is the Soldano SLO module. I will put that in the box for the Bogner. And again, dude, if you've never used any Synergy gear, like it's literally, you just screw these two screws on the side, and that is it. And you have a new amp. Isn't that sick? To me, that's just mind-blowing. Slide that in. You have to push it in until it stops, and then push it deeper, deeper. And that's it. That's how I just switched from a Soldano SLO to a Synergy Bogner Uberschall amplifier. So I'll turn it on and try to dial it in. That way you guys can gauge whether you like it or not. I think I actually love it. But here's the one thing. If you have a Bogner Rev Blue, I think because it's an older amp, this is actually voiced a little differently, and it's a bit more modern. So I'm thinking that the Bogner Uberschall Synergy is a more current version of the Uberschall, just like I have an R&R SLLD, which is a preamp rack, and you know, it's a Mesa rectifier clone, but once I got it, I was just like, that doesn't really sound like my rectifiers, but it actually is voiced after a more modern version of the Mesa rectifier. So I kind of think that that's exactly what they did with this one, and it just sounds great. It sounds a little different, and I hate to say it, but it actually sounds better than my Rev Blue. So, you know, I'm not going to there's nothing to complain about at all. All right, so let us... you know what I'm going to do? I was going to use my Kiesel, but let me switch over to my... I'll switch over to my 91 ESP M2 Custom. All right, let's tune it. Ah, C sharp standard, son. C sharp standard. All right, so let's turn this guy on. All right. It would help if I actually plugged it in. All right, so I'm going to start off with the treble, bass, and mid, along with the gain set to noon, and then I'll just play around with it from there. So the Bogner Uberschall has a 3-select toggle switch with pre-EQ, so you can kind of structure the frequency, and you have, let's just call it top, middle, and 6 o'clock. I personally like it at noon, so the top is, for me, the tightest. The center is a letter N. Maybe that's neutral, maybe that's just kind of the equivalent of the raw in a Mesa rectifier. But definitely, you know, if you're looking for something tight, keep that toggle switch set to noon. Gain is still at noon. I lowered the mid to about 11 o'clock. Treble is at about 2 o'clock. And bass is at 1. Now I'll give it a little extra body by just adding some bass to that. So in this guitar, I actually have a Nazgul in the bridge, so that's what you heard. And again, listen, I'm just going guitar right into the front of the Synergy, and again into my KSR PA50. So you can basically pick, you know, if you have a standalone power amp, you can use that, or whichever amp you have, just run it through the effects loop. That way you just bypass the preamp section of your amp. And dude, this thing is sick. Yeah. And then here's one thing. So, so I have all these modules, right? So I have 4 modules. And the one thing that I kind of realized is, where do I put them all? And I'll show you. So I've had to go from using one module used over to the next module, and what I do to store it is I put them back in their original boxes. The problem is that I don't want to keep them in their boxes. Like, you don't use an amplifier and when you're done, you're like, I gotta get my Marshall box, my Fortin box, and put it in there. Meanwhile, I literally have Marshall and Fortin boxes. Just in case that day ever arrives where someone says, dude, I'll give you 10 grand for your Cali. Yes, I will take 10 grand for the Cali. So here is my boy, Mike Bailey, who, dude, at the time, he was just like, bro, I don't even know how you don't like Synergy. And of course, again, I had a technical issue, and he knew about it. And, but he had 8 modules. So all of a sudden he starts posting these videos, or actually these photos of this case that almost looks like a Pelican case, with these notches that are perfectly aligned and shaped for for one of these Synergy modules. So here he is with one of these inside a Pelican case. So it's just covered. And I'm like, bro, what the heck is that? And he just told me about his buddy, Chris, who is out in, I want to say Washington State and, or Oregon, maybe Washington. So, I reached out to him, and dude, they're absolutely amazing. So if you have a Synergy, more than one Synergy module, and you're trying to figure out where to put the extras, here is what I'm referring to. So it is a Pelican case type enclosure, and he actually creates these face plates with the rail system. So you just take your Synergy and align it with the rail, which is exactly what's found in the Synergy Syn 1, Syn 2, all of them, because they have to actually slide into the back of the module. So I ordered one, and it actually is going to arrive tomorrow, and I will do an unboxing video with it. But again, I'll post a link right to his Instagram account. His name is Chris Burns, and dude, I'll put a link to his Instagram, which is Idiot Burns. Yeah. And again, if you have any Synergy gear, and like me, you're trying to figure out where to put the others, whether it's one or more, you can just go ahead and just get that. So guys, hopefully you were able to hear the Bogner Uberschall by Synergy and absolutely love it. So yeah, just make sure you have an awesome power amp section, because to me, I feel like that's everything, but at the same time, I also have to make a video running it out of my Seymour Duncan Power Stage 200. That way you guys get to hear what it sounds like through a solid state power amp. So guys, hit the subscribe button. That way you guys don't miss all the next videos that I post. The next video is going to be, what is it? Where are my boxes that I just had? It's going to be the Fryette Deliverance will be the next video. And if you've never used a VHT or Fryette head, you definitely want to catch that video. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Merry Christmas! And as usual, this guy will talk to you soon.